you know, Motiv has achieved a major milestone. I read not too long ago you accumulated 1 million miles on your electric vehicles, and that's really an accomplishment. Uh, what do you think are a few lessons learned that Clean Cities can take away from the amount of what you've learned from having that many miles on your EVs?
Oh, sure, Tim. Actually, that's a little dated information. We're at 1.2 million miles now on about 120 vehicles that we have deployed. And I'd say the main lessons learned in terms of manufacturing vehicles, and then I'll cover getting them out to the public. But to start off with, manufacturing wise, we build from the ground up. We found over the years that trying to retrofit existing vehicles does not work nearly as well in terms of longevity and reliability for the vehicles. So building from the ground up, from chassis up, is one of the first lessons we probably learned. Number two, and this one's ongoing, and this is going to go for everyone that is planning to deploy EV fleets: plan early. It can take at least a year for infrastructure to be implemented, sometimes even longer if the utilities have to get involved. That could eat up 6 to 9 months right there. So it's a good idea to plan very early if you're planning to deploy EV fleets. Third, to be successful, customer training and customer service is absolutely essential. We pride ourselves at Motiv on the training that we provide for our customers, especially for new customers, and then our continuing ongoing support. This is newer technology. Things will happen. We will run into problems, but the faster we can solve them, the better the experience for the customer. And then lastly, the most important lesson learned for me is to network. Organizations like Clean Cities and the Air District are very helpful in not only finding customers, but finding grants and finding funding to allow the customers to be able to deploy these fleets. I don't think without Clean Cities and you and Gina helping me out, we would have been nearly as successful as we have been in the last 2 years. Thanks.
Here in Sacramento, the Community Resource Project has put 9 of the Motiv trucks into service. That's a lot of trucks in any one fleet. What kind of applications are they serving, and how did they spec them for those applications?
Yeah. So Community Resource Project is something I'm very proud of. We've worked very hard on this. I believe you and Gina introduced me in 2018 to Community Resource Project, and we've worked very hard with them to determine exactly what their needs were. They have 4 different configurations of our vehicles. They have a box truck with a lift. They have a stake bed with a lift. They have 2 box trucks without lifts, and they have 5 work trucks, which are pretty much a workshop inside the box of the truck and cabinets for tools on the outside of the truck. They use these to do energy audits and energy efficiency upgrades in low-income housing neighborhoods. And so now not only are they improving low-income neighborhoods and making them more energy efficient, they're doing it with these electric vehicles.
Motiv had a pretty big order from Bimbo Bakery. I know you did a few at first, and then I think they did a big reorder. What kind of vehicles are they getting, and what kind of duty cycles do those kinds of vehicles need to meet?
Sure. So Bimbo Bakeries, which is the largest bakery, I believe, in the world, but certainly in America, they have thousands and thousands of vehicles out on the road, and they are dedicated to going towards zero emission. So you're correct. They ordered originally 5 step vans from us. This is the F59 based step van that is the exact same vehicle that they're driving, other than the fact that it's EV. The accommodations that we have made for those are an internal lift gate. They've got barn doors on the back that open up, and they can move their carts full of bread and donuts out from the truck if there happens to be no loading dock. But that also allows them to load at a loading dock with the internal lift gate. It doesn't get in the way between the loading dock. And again, these are the F59 chassis versus the E450 chassis that we were talking about earlier with Community Resource Project. So a different vehicle. They have a range of around 100 miles, depending on how you're driving them. Their typical routes are less than 60 miles, so it's a perfect fit for these. Again, the most difficult issue that we've run into is charging infrastructure. And we are working through it with help from not only our electricians, but even PG&E has been helpful.
That's really neat. And it's interesting that you have the F59 step van, and then you had the E450, which was the work truck that you talked about with the Community Resource Project.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have one other, it's a much larger chassis, which is used for Winnebagos and the hometown trolley.
And do you have a school bus on that larger chassis?
We had a school bus on the larger chassis, but currently we're only making a school bus with Collins on the E450 chassis.
That would be sort of a special needs kind of smaller vehicle. And also, I guess that would also function as a shuttle type vehicle.
Correct. And that can be a shuttle bus as well. So the E450 is very versatile in that sense. Stake bed work truck, box truck, school bus, shuttle bus.
Are there any shuttle bus applications currently using that is non-school shuttle bus applications using the vehicle?
Absolutely. Google runs a fleet of our shuttle buses around Mountain View, California. They're completely free for anyone to ride, but the underlying idea is that Google employees can get on anywhere in Mountain View and they end up at campus. But residents run them as well. UCLA also has a couple shuttle buses running around their campus.
So obviously we've loved the partnership that we've had with Motiv. Motiv has been an excellent partner. They've been at many of our events and displayed at many of our events. What can we do? What can Clean Cities do to work more effectively with Motiv in 2021?
Yeah, well, obviously the pandemic has kind of shut us down on the type of events where we all get together and have booths and bring our trucks out, which is sad because not only was that a lot of fun, it was ultra productive in terms of use of time, but forgoing that, I would like to do more webinars, more interviews like this, more walkarounds, even live ride and drives. I'm happy to take some of our new vehicles out as soon as we have our press releases done, and show the quietness and the acceleration, that sort of thing. And I would love to do more walkarounds in the shop or even the headquarters area.
That's right. We did one where it was quite interesting. In fact, it was very spontaneous. So that really worked out well. I did want to mention that we will be doing in the fall, sometime September, October. We haven't picked a date quite yet, but we will be doing one of our events where we will have training for technicians and fleet managers, and also have vehicles that we would put on display. And we'd look forward. You displayed a couple of years ago when we did the last one before the pandemic, and it worked out really well. We'd be looking forward to have Motiv back again.
I would be delighted to bring a couple trucks out for sure.